Tomorrow I finally become an adult according to US law, and I'll be moving into my girlfriend's uncle's guest house for the rest of my senior year before college. My hope is to never talk to my family again. The reason for this drastic move started with my conception. My bio dad left my mom as soon as she found out she was pregnant. She had me and became a single mom. She met Ted when I was 2, and we moved in together. Ted had a son, Marky, who was also 2. Ted and my mom married, and she adopted Mark shortly after. However, Ted never adopted me. They decided to make my bio dad pay child support. They had a half-sister, Grace, a year later. So everyone in the family has Ted's last name except me. I have my mother's maiden name. I used to call Ted Dad because he was the only father figure I knew. But there were always small issues that made him different. At family events, my mom would refer to both Mark and me as her sons, but Ted would correct her, saying I was his adopted son while Mark was his real son. Mark and Grace would get special time with Ted, but I never did. As school progressed, things got worse. I'm just smarter than Mark, getting as in honors and AP classes with little effort, while he struggled for BS. Ted's jealousy became evident, and it affected how he treated me. Report cards would bring praise for Mark and Grace, but jokes about how I could sleep through class and still get an A. Ted even wanted to limit how much money I got for my grades, but my mom stopped him. She didn't stop Ted's special treatment of Mark and Grace. Ted bonded with Mark and Grace while ignoring me. My mom didn't do this. She liked spending time with all of us together. When I was 15, I wanted to join a camping trip Ted and Mark were going on. I told Ted it was unfair that I couldn't join. Ted told me that while he loved me, he needed to bond with his real children separately, and I should try to bond with my mom. This conversation broke me. I talked to my mom, and things got worse. She knew about Ted's behavior and said she always made sure I was treated fairly financially. She told me I needed to deal with it and be thankful for what Ted did for me. I was devastated. When Ted returned, I stopped calling him Dad. For my family, this was where the problem started. They saw me as ungrateful. My mom begged me to see the bigger picture, but I refused. I called him Ted for the next few months. Around Christmas, when I was 16, the entire family held an intervention. They said calling Ted by his first name hurt the family. Ted talked about how it pained him, and my mom spoke about all he had done for me. Mark said I was ungrateful, and Grace cried, saying I was destroying the family. This hurt deeply, especially coming from Grace, who always acknowledged Ted's favoritism. I spoke up about feeling like an outsider, but no one comforted me. Ted said I could rejoin the family if I stopped calling him Ted. Even my mom and Grace agreed. I couldn't believe it. I started calling Ted Dad again to keep the peace, but it never felt right. I struggled with suicidal thoughts and spent months dreaming of ending it. A co-worker, Jenny, suggested I start saving to move out. I took her advice, saved up, and prepared for this moment. Jenny and I started dating, and her uncle's guest house became my new home. I gave him 10 months rent upfront, covering me until college. I've been moving out gradually, and tomorrow, while there at church, I'll grab my final belongings and leave a note for my mom. I hope to forgive her one day, but right now my anger is too intense. I know leaving will cut off financial support, but without Jenny's encouragement, I'm not sure I would have made it. I don't know if we'll stay together after high school, but I'll always appreciate her help and support. I'll update on how things go after the move. Wish me luck.